Hi Libra, Sun, Moon and Rising, welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to your May reading. So let's get started with the astrology a little bit and then we'll get into your tarot. Okay, so on the very first of the month we have Pluto going retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, and it just now entered this zodiac at the very end of March. And it stayed here in the month of April and finally it is going retrograde again. So this signifies that we have to go over something once more. This for you is falling in your fifth house of fun, romance, entertainment, also creativity and self-expression. So there could have been some desires that have cropped up in the month of April and also at the very end of March. Something you could have felt bubbling up to the surface, but perhaps it was unclear as to how you would execute those things. You like something, but you don't know how to go about them, things like that. So when it goes retrograde, the planet, we are able to go through it bit by bit from a more methodical process, okay? So it gives us a little bit more breathing space to really understand and transform from the inside out. Okay, on the 5th, we have a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. We had a solar eclipse on the 21st of April or the 20th of April, depending on where you stay. And that was in the sign of Aries. I've made a zodiac specific reading for that. If you have not checked it out, I would suggest you do so. And I will be making zodiac specific readings for this upcoming eclipse as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We won't get too much into it over here, but it does symbolize some sort of completion, culmination, something getting out of your life. We have been experiencing Scorpio eclipses in 2022 and also in Taurus, but this one's a little bit different because we don't have that sort of push and pull dynamic. Now it's like whatever needs to be transformed can be transformed from the inside out. All the changes can be actually implemented without too much resistance, unless we choose to be the resistance ourselves, right? Okay, so pivotal time, eclipses usually play out in like 4 to 6 months. So I'm not saying that exactly on this day everything is going to shift or something, but definitely is the seed point. All right, now on the 7th, we have Venus moving into Cancer, and this is a very maternal feeling here. We are more drawn to our families, our homes. We want to take care of our emotional needs and desires and nurture our loved ones as well. You can be finding yourself drawn to, wanting some cozy time and also kind of paying more attention to your spiritual body as well. Okay, now for you, that would be in the 10th house. Yes, that would be your 10th house. So you could find yourself kind of working from home more, or you want to work from home more, or you are able to perform much better when you are at home and pursuing your goals and ambitions in general. Also, you can use this opportunity to fine-tune your goals in order to meet your emotional needs and desires, okay? So not really about ticking that checklist, but more about what would make you feel good. That can attract a lot more abundance and growth in a career sense as well, if that's something you're seeking. In the second week, we have a couple of aspects going on. I will not get into them right now. I will talk about them in my community page. If you're curious, you can check it out. Then we have Mercury finally going direct on the 15th of the month. It is still in shadow zone. It will come out and it will be fully alert and full speed ahead by May 31st. But it is still direct, so we can go ahead with our plans, make some promises, sign some contracts after we take like a deep, long, hard look at them, of course. But we absolutely can go ahead with some plans. Especially because on the next day we have Jupiter moving into the sign of Taurus as well. So there's a lot of boost in a financial sense. A lot of blessings can come in here as well. For you, it would be, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th house. Yes, I have a chart over here. I calculated for Virgo rising. So I'm kind of shifting it in my head. So, okay. So the 8th house talks about shared resources, investments, loans. Okay. So if you have any of these going on in your life, there could be some good deals coming around. If you share your, finances with, let's say, a roommate or a romantic partner, with a business partner and so on, there can be some blessings that come in through the other person that kind of releases a bit of a pressure from you. So that is a very wonderful thing. Jupiter over here can also indicate that you get some blessings from, or rather protection from difficult circumstances. So no matter what issues crop up from this point on, and it's going to stay in Taurus for quite some time, you will still be protected from like the hidden influences and so on. Okay, so if you're trying to get rid of addictions or rectify your thought patterns in some way or deal with emotions and psychological issues in some regard, then you will see that you find the necessary information or the guidance comes to you and you find it easily implementable. Okay, then on the 19th we have a new moon in Taurus, and that is talking about new beginnings coming through. So whatever you are intending in the decisions you're making in the third week is more likely to come into fruition, or the seeds are planted on the 19th itself. And then as, 21st and on to the fourth week, you will see the blessings start rolling in a very tangible sense. On the 20th, we have Mars moving out of Cancer and into Leo. So it's a fiery planet in a fiery sign. It is much happier here than it was in Cancer. So you will find yourself very driven and passionate. You're curious to discover things. You're networking more, making friends. You're, kind of collaborating with people on a global scale as well. You can also be finding yourself feeling more drawn to humanitarian causes, and you want to kind of make your mark or like be an individual or a leader in some way in that area of life. It can also be that your friends and your network is going through a lot of changes themselves. They have a lot of things going on, a lot of creative projects that are coming out and so on, and you might be there to help them out, or you are part of that group in some capacity. Then we have the zodiac season shifting on the 21st of the month. The sun moves into Gemini, and this brings a lot of focus into our thought patterns once more. All right. So this would be in your 9th house. So you might think of booking your travel plans or going abroad in some way, taking care of your visas, creating like a roadmap or something of what you're going to explore, and so on and so forth. You could also find yourself learning some foreign languages. Gemini is a little bit, non-committal, so perhaps it's not about gathering expertise, but it's getting enough information that you can go around a new place or connect with people from different backgrounds. You can also find yourself being very curious about the big questions. You might be, focusing on your belief systems, what is very important to you, and what are the foundations through which you connect with people. In the fourth week, again, we have a lot of aspects going on. I will not get into them here because I really want to get to your tarot now. So I will talk about it in my community page. Make sure you are tuned for that. Okay, so the first oracle card we have is the universe works fast when I'm having fun. Yes, when we have that Leo thing going on, it's very much about you can manifest by having fun. And this also applies to doing what makes you feel good with the Cancerian energy as well, because that attracts a lot of support for you. Then we have needle and thread. A sincere wish will be granted as the first major highlight. The second one is pig with beware of greed. And we have dolphin, which says financial gain usually coming from something you did in the past. Retrogrades are such phases where the efforts of the past that were not yet rewarded, or the things that were already in process, that comes to fruition as well. That's something I've observed. It's not usually very talked about, but that can talk about that here with the dolphin over there. So if you've networked, you have asked for some, a loan or an investment of sorts. You've made your case. You've written the documents. You've done everything that you needed to do, and all you have to do is kind of wait, sit back, relax, and just pause on the other person responding or the other organization responding. Then during retrograde phases, that usually comes to fruition. Okay, then we have you, the muse, which corresponds with the Empress energy, and then we have nourish the sacred feminine, absolutely, and we have inflow with money. Okay, very wonderful cards. Let's see your tarot. We have the devil coming up first, corresponds with the Capricorn energy, all about persistence and pushing ahead. We have Five of Swords. We have the Page of Pentacles. We have the Hermit, all right. This Virgo energy, and we have the death. Wow, what is happening? Okay. Wow, okay, so where do I begin? Where do I begin? Because this is like so different from all the oracle cards over here. I have to kind of link these things here. Okay, so the devil can talk about some sort of obsession, addiction, or something that you have pushed a lot towards. I think with the hermit there is a chance for you to evaluate what your intention is. You know, like where are you coming from with that situation? Like, let's say you want to get a promotion. Is it because of, you know, getting more money? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, everybody needs it, so that's okay. But like, is that clear to you? Because if you are in denial, then that's a whole different situation. Then it can go out of hand at a later time. But if you know that that's why you are doing something, once you get it, you're like, yep, okay, so I got the promotion, now I have the money and I'm satisfied here. Okay, but if you don't know, then it is very likely that that motivation drives you. Yes, that's really an example. That's the best way I can explain it, with an example, actually. So you are evaluating your intentions, your deeper intentions towards any moves that you're making. There are some things you might be learning here, or you're making some applications, or you're exploring different topics and so on. But again, you might be like, you might have to like invest something yourself. So inflow with money means that you're spending something, but it's sort of like it will pay you back in like later down the line. And this death card talks about Scorpio, which is about that investor energy. So someone else might be coming in and bringing you money, and that kind of changes things. But you might have to evaluate whether that is something you really want to do or what. And I'll just warn you already, we do have to beware of greed. So it can be someone else to whom that you made an offer or an application. They are kind of asking you for a lot more than they are willing to give here. So you have to push a lot more, and then you might question, like, is this even worth it? You know, are there any alternatives that I can perhaps take into account, and so on. So if you're not having fun, there is like no point. And the moment you start having fun, it's like a game changer, okay? Because we have that oracle, this is kind of the overall message over here for you. All right, so if something is draining a lot more of your energy, then you're not taking full advantage of what the month is offering here. All right, so it's important to kind of turn the tables in a way. So if someone is being too much, then, you know, it's okay to go your way if need be. Okay, that's kind of situation dependent, of course. For example, a boss might be too demanding and you're not really getting paid enough. And you're like, okay, what's up with this? So you might think about it and you're like, this place is absolutely not worth it. So I'm going to, you know, do something that I actually enjoy, where any effort is actually worth it. So that's when you probably take up a course, or you take up a training or an apprenticeship in something that actually interests you, something that you want to do even by yourself, you know, even if you're not getting some sort of material gain right away, you're still very interested to pursue those things. And I'm not saying, you know, forget about money or forget about this or that. No, your desires are completely valid, but maybe the situation or the person is not the best way to achieve those things. So there is a redirection that comes through as a result of your own contemplation. So the muse, nourish the sacred feminine. That's why I think with the Venus in Cancer as well, it's extremely important that you listen to your emotions at this time. It's not really about push. It's also about in what direction, you know, for what's your cause, you know, why are you doing this? Because there are many ways of making money, there are many ways of achieving a goal or reputation and so on. So maybe staying stuck in one particular method is not really a great idea. You can still spread your branches. You can think about it. Perhaps there's a different way of executing something that can be a lot more beneficial. Because with the Page of Pentacles, it's like the entire field is open to it. Okay, it's the starting phases, but it shows great promise. Meanwhile, with the Devil there, of course you have like pushed on and you've gathered so much experience, and success is, you know, guaranteed, but perhaps not in the same direction that you were hoping for. And the eclipse that's coming through in the Scorpio zodiac on the 5th here, that can bring about these new revelations or ideas. Someone's a bit of a headache is something I hear with the 5 of Swords. It's like, it's too much headache for me to even bother about this, okay? So yeah, I don't think this greediness is coming from you, to be very honest, because Scorpio is as well on the other people's side. It's not really about you. I don't see a lot of Libra things going on, but you will think of these ideas yourself. Yeah, so spend some time in peace, going out in nature, spending time by yourself and so on, to do some soul searching, because there's a lot of you know, aspects and a lot of transitions that are blessing that area of your life. And like I said, Mercury, Jupiter, and even the new moon, everything being in Taurus around the middle of the month, you might really rethink certain plans that you've had related to investments and loans or shared resource, your own psyche, your addictions and obsessions, or like whatever habits that you have going on, which are now turning towards a detrimental. You know, something that keeps on going does not have to be healthy the whole time, right? Let's say you're losing weight. You can't keep on losing weight. At some point that becomes toxic. When you're gaining weight, at some point that becomes toxic. You know, everything has its own balance and limit. So it looks like there is some type of turning point here, and something is going off balance, and you're trying to bring that back into balance, okay? What is awesome is that all of these feminine cards here, they indicate that balance is something that will be restored. That's kind of the job of the divine feminine, okay? She makes sure that the flowers are in full bloom. She makes sure that the water is running and the earth is moving. You know, all of the things that are in movement, in perfect tandem and correlation with one another, that's the divine feminine. So whatever it is you're doing, it is spinning in your favor anyway. The Hermit is like you being in that pivot point. No matter what the external circumstances, you take matters into your own hands and you deal with it like a champ, all right? Now, inflow with money as well symbolizes that you're still balanced, okay? Now, another thing a little less serious, if you're making like travel plans, for example, you might be wanting to explore every place. Okay, you might get a little bit too excited, so in that way that could be a beware of greed situation. But again, you think about it and then you reprioritize, you know, like maybe that place I'm not too interested in, or the language is too hard to learn, maybe the culture is not really my cup of tea, so you know, never mind, I'm going to drop that. So it again brings you back into that flow with money. A sincere wish will be granted as well, as giving me that indication that you're kind of steering things into your favor anyway. But there will be certain plans that drop, or certain people or connections that you're like, no thanks, this does not work for me. And you're kind of relieved. I feel with the Hermit and the Death, it's like you're relieved that something is done and dusted. Okay, in the end, it might feel a little bit heavy as it is happening, but you're thankful that it's done, and instead of, you know, you pursuing that thing and then recognizing it much later and so on. It is absolutely a blessing here, okay? So financial gain can come in the sense that you have unexpected you know, growth or opportunities that present themselves. Like you didn't think of it previously, but now that you have this additional information and this epiphany that comes in, it changes the situation a little bit. I want to get you some clarifiers actually. Let me see. I'll get this one. Let's clarify the Devil, please, for Libra, Sun, and Rising. We have the 8 of Swords, 5 of Swords, please. Can you clarify that? Thank you. We have Temperance. So you're bringing something back into balance. Now look at what has been making you feel stuck in the month of April. You know, it can even be an ongoing issue that has started from the 21st or even the 6th. Even the 6th or the 7th of April, because that's when Mercury entered shadow zone. Something has been ongoing since then. And you might not know your solution. Let's clarify the Hermit, please. Because, okay, let me just shuffle. Okay, the Hermit for Libras. We have the Three of Wands. Yes, see, I told you, you're the one who's full of hope. You have the solutions, you have the manifestations. And let's clarify the death energy for Scorpio. Sorry, death energy for Libra. This is a Scorpio card, so I almost... Okay. Let's see, what do we have? The King of Wands. Yep, absolutely. So you are going your own way. You're like, never mind, I got this. You know, I'm sorry I asked for your help. I don't need it. Okay, bye. So you're taking matters into your own hands. You're making sure that it's comfortable for you. You know, you're a naturally compromising sign. So if someone says wait, then you're more likely to wait as compared to some other zodiacs who are like, no, I told you this time at this point, if you're not here, I'm not here either, right? There are some people who are just not compromising, but as a Libra, you can be very diplomatic, you're very charming, you can wait and, you know, pause and kind of be more understanding of other people and their needs as well. So with the Temperance energy, it feels as though that's what you've been doing, okay? But deep down, you already know what you are going to do. When you're compromising, people assume that you're very indecisive, okay? But it's not really that. You know what you want, but you're just waiting for, or rather hoping for, people to also get on the same page here. But if it's like too much trouble and too much like back and forth and lack of promises or lack of, you know, progress, you don't have a problem of taking your own path. And that's what you're doing with the Three of Wands, the King of Wands here. The death, by the way, Scorpio talks about empowerment, and with Pluto going retrograde, it's like you have to be empowered. You have to take matters into your own hands. Power is not given to you. Power is not something that other people might be feeling and showering upon you, but you're the one who is exerting it. So King of Wands being here gives me a lot of encouragement on behalf of you, that, you know, you're going to figure it out anyway, and you're actually feeling a lot more excited about the opportunities that are ahead of you. It's kind of the classic case of you were dreaming too small, and actually not small, but like you were dreaming differently than what would actually bring you a lot of happiness. So the sincere wish is really talking about what would make your soul happy. Okay. Wow. Okay, so it can even be like you don't want to deal with certain people, but they might be bringing you a lot of gains. But if they're too much of a headache, then you would rather just keep your peace and sanity and do things your way. It's sort of that situation. So in that situation, you have to let go of certain desires that you might have had, but it is for the best, because now you're liberated and you can do things your way, basically. Okay, so let's get you your astro dice. What else can we know for Libras in the month of May? We have the South Node, Leo, and the 8th house. Yeah, see? You're letting go of some sort of pride, ego, and greed. That would be the shadow sides of Leo. So it can even be like a leader figure in your life, an authority or a boss. Can even be a father figure for some. It can be that you are letting go of some toxic tendencies you have inherited from this authority, or if you're dealing with them actively, then you're like, you're done with that. You're kind of surrendering to the process. You don't want to resist it. You're not fighting it anymore. You're just done and dusted with that situation. All right. And by doing so, you're kind of reclaiming your own inner power. You're standing in your own pride, and you're kind of doing what makes you, what kind of fits your situation here. Leo is as well on a in its ideal sense, it's very honorable, it's very loyal, generous, warm, and all of that, but at the same time it's very passionate and decisive as well. In the 8th house, it's kind of at home in that circumstance that Scorpio is as well very passionate and intense. So them kind of collaborating creates a lot of power within you. You have a lot of energy here. So no matter what the situation is, you might feel as though you have energy coming from somewhere, and you might not even know where. Okay. Some of you can also be doing some sort of inner work, and that helps you get out of difficult circumstances here. Hang on, I'm getting a deja vu. I think I have this dream sometime. No joke, seriously. Okay, I had this exact combination in the dream, my goodness. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, power energy comes from somewhere, and you are doing some inner work as well to let go of any toxic tendencies that you might be dealing with that is not authentic to you. Leo is as well very authentic and very, very honest, and proud about that honesty as well. So you're kind of getting deeper and deeper into your own self, and you're like, why do I even need these people? Or like, I can do it myself, I can manage this, I have my savings, you know, things like that. One more. Let's go one more for Libras, please. We have Jupiter, third house, and Leo again. Yeah, so you do have support from your team, your community. It can even be your siblings, especially if you have elder siblings, who can kind of help you out. It can also be just your neighborhood and community that is helping you out. Let's say you're taking up some humanitarian causes or something that would benefit society at large. You might, benefit from like networking with people or sharing your ideas with someone, and you see that you have a lot of support coming through, not only financially but also verbal. I also hear like there is a promise of success. There's a promise of success. Unlike previous situations, which are like, well, we could see what could happen. Yeah, we could, go ahead with this. And that goes for even apartment searching, right? So you're looking for houses and they're like, yeah, maybe you would get it. We're not sure yet. But you can't stay in that limbo, right? So you get some sort of promise that things are about to work out. All right, so that's what I have for you, Libras. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading helps you out. Let me know your thoughts. And if you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box in the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.